Good afternoon to all our friends and fans. This is Michael Virardi welcoming you to our second Zoom In with Virardi series, which is a successor to the Ask Virardi show. And unlike the Ask Virardi show, which used to zoom in to personal successes, the Zoom In with Virardi show is zooming into company successes and best professional practices. We're so lucky today to have with us a great friend and the HR Director of Nokia Europe Customer Service Operation, my friend Peter Holmark, which I'm going to be reverting to in just a while. But let me tell you that the Zoom In with Virardi show is for those companies that want to survive and thrive in this ultra-competitive world of ours, where we're serving the most informed, the most knowledgeable, and the most competent customer of all times. Just before I go on to Peter, allow me to say a few things about his company Nokia. Nokia is a global company which was founded in 1865. It is listed on the Helsinki Stock Exchange with a market capitalization of 26 billion euros. It is a 153-year-old company which is still transforming. It used to produce paper, rubber, satellite dishes, TVs, telecom systems, and many more products. The majority of our viewers may remember the era of Nokia mobile phones capturing the hearts and minds of over 33% of the world. That's 1 in 3 people used to own a Nokia mobile phone. But after some turbulent times, which we're going to be discussing, with fierce competition from Apple and the likes, that business was eventually sold to Microsoft. Today, Nokia, with over 100,000 employees in 120 countries, is focused on creating the technology to connect the world. A world with the Internet of Things, 5G, ultra-fast networks, human-machine interactions and robots, digitalization of the entire ecosystem, just to name a few. Because of all of the above mentioned, Nokia has strong end-to-end portfolio covering everything from mobile networks, services, IP optics, fixed networks, to Nokia software, Nokia technologies, and the iconic Nokia Bell's Lab. Last but not least, Nokia has a strong research and development capability with over 37,000 R&D professionals, research and development professionals, and only in 2017 they have filed just a few thousand patent applications. Now to my special guest, Peter Holmark, who's a senior HR leader with strong business acumen. He's currently the HR director for the European sales organization within Nokia, and a person I was fortunate enough to share a stage with. He's very capable, and at the start of his career, allowing Peter to say, Peter has worked in the business doing telecom consulting. Later, he took on leadership positions of service organizations when joining Nokia in 2001, that's 17 years ago, and through his work in Europe, Middle East and Africa, he drove service transformation and turned teams into high-performing, customer-centric teams. In 2009, he entered the world of HR, first as an HR director for parts of the software business, and later he held the position of head of talent, leadership and organizational development and expertise worldwide, and currently as the HR director of sales in Europe for Nokia. In his work, Peter focuses on change and culture, and he's taking a human-centered approach to making change stick. With this, I welcome you, Peter, to the Zoom In with Virardi show. It's good to have you with us.
Thank you so much, Michael. Great to be here.
It's great to have you. I need to get the elephant in the room out of the room, so I have to tell you that Nokia has been through a roller coaster of a ride. It was once worth 70 billion US dollars, and then the mobile phone division of Nokia, and correct me if I'm wrong, was sold to Microsoft for only 7 billion US dollars. What were the lessons learned along this ride?
Thank you, Michael. And you're right. We did indeed sell the Nokia mobile phone business to Microsoft. So when you buy a Nokia phone today, it's made by HMD. It still carries the Nokia brand, and we still want to be associated with what is greatness, and we really love the great product. So Nokia still lasted after the mobile phone business was sold off. So Nokia is much more than that. And a couple of things really stick to me, Michael, from that journey. First of all, you can be great. A small Finnish company can conquer the world if you have the drive, the passion, the energy, the good ideas, like in Finnish, they call it the sisu, you can be great. So it's a source of inspiration for anybody who really want to go out there and be their greatest. And obviously also it's a great learning for us to see when do you need to cut the bonds with what used to make you great, but maybe it's not what are gonna make you great. And that was part of that journey. We eventually sold off the mobile phone business. So you learn from that ride as well.
So what used to make you great doesn't necessarily will make you great going into the future. Can you repeat what the Finnish say about what's the word in Finnish?
It's called sisu. It's a gut, the drive, determination. And the way we put this into the Nokia values is about challenge and achievement. So we translate it like that.
Excellent. Peter, I saw you live. I saw how good you are, and we shared a stage together. But for everyone who doesn't know you, from our fans and friends who might not know you, can you share with us what exactly do you do today as Customer Operations HR Director of Europe Nokia?
Yes, of course, Michael. So, I think Dave Ulrich has said it very well. HR is not about HR, it's about business. So exactly in that spirit, I am orchestrating winning people performance that makes the European business successful. So more practically, as an HR director for sales in Europe, I'm focusing on the whole life cycle of employees. I'm trying with a team that helps me to attract and recruit the good people that can help us to be successful. And all the people we have in our teams, I help to manage the performance, make sure we achieve our goals, and also that we develop the people and recognize the people who works every day very hard for Nokia sales in Europe. And then at the end of the life cycle, other people need to move on, or we're going to promote them, or they can move out of sales. I'm also helping on this. So this is kind of the summary on this. And I obviously work a lot with all our leaders. And in so doing, there's three things that's really important for me. First of all, how do you attract people into your organization for future success? So this is a lot about getting the right capabilities into your teams. The second thing that's very important for me, Michael, is that when you do a lot of transformation and you want to achieve greatness, it's not a straight formula. So I spend a lot of my time coaching senior leaders. Either they transform themselves, they transition into a job, or they have a setback. They didn't go as planned. So I use my personal coaching capabilities to help them to come back into the game again. And particularly around sales, I'm now really excited about a program where I'm going to help sales leaders in Europe have different conversations with the customers to have more of a challenger mindset. This is something that I'm driving myself, and I'm really excited how I can help us in Europe with that program. So this is how I spend my time.
I love your replies, succinct, to the point, easily understood. Excellent.
Thank you.
You talk about the life cycle from beginning to end. I like that because I see that Nokia doesn't care only to enroll somebody, but they care how that exit or that exodus is made. So how does Peter and Nokia look at performance management when it comes to performance management?
I think it's a great point. We are here to make business. We are here to make money, and you have to deliver in Nokia. We are very execution oriented, and we put a lot of recognition and value into achieving goals. And Michael, I think achievement speaks louder than anything else. So achieving your goals is important for us. But we are in a fierce competition, and we also have a bit of a growth mindset. So it's also important for us that you constantly achieve a little bit more. You need constantly to do better and better and better. An interesting part from a people perspective is that when you look into the science of greatness and science of happiness, achieving small goals all the time and bigger goals, that actually also drives employee engagement. So a fundamental part of that is overachieving your goals all the time. And then there's another dimension, Michael, that's really maybe not so intuitive, is we also value contributing beyond my own role. So we realize we're in a complex world. Nokia is a big organization, and we always try to ask ourselves the question, so is this person achieving his or her goal? And is she also sharing her great ideas with other colleagues so they can learn? And is she taking in ideas from other people to make her own work great? And we find by taking that additional dimension into performance management, we knit the organization together and create a strong culture. And, sharing your great ideas, like we have done on stage, you and me, it also makes you feel good. So this is how we look at performance management.
Excellent. And with this mindset, I can only see Nokia climbing up any ladder that they choose to climb. Since you talk about potential, talked about people and their potential, going beyond your role, my question is, what is your definition of potential, and how do you get your people ready for the future when it comes to this potential?
I think it's another great question. It's almost like the performance and the potential. So we are transforming, as you said in the introduction, we have done it since we were formed as a company. So ability to get into a new situation, use your past experience, and then being able to do good work very fast is very important for us because that's part of our daily life. So we look at potential around learning agilities. So we're interested in, am I people agile, am I results agile, change agile, and mental agile, which is a little bit like, how do I use all these things to leverage my potential and really do more and achieve more than I did in the past. So this is some of the things we're using when we evaluate people on
It's
this.
people, resources, agile. What else is there? People,
It's people, results, it's change, and it's mental agility.
mental,
Mental agility. So people in
excellent.
Nokia,
Yes.
high potential, they read a lot, they're interested in a lot of things. We have a lot of Yammer groups, and I formed a couple of Yammer groups myself, and the contribution is great from articles, bringing another views. So this is just showing that it really works for us in Nokia.
Unbelievable. So can you talk to us about the people journey? We live in a world of advanced automation and digitalization. I was recently a speaker at a global shipping forum. We used to hear the word automation and digitalization all day long. A world that technology is taking over our lives and it's affecting the way we conduct our business. How do you make sure your team has the ability to transform, and how do you carry on that transformation in a team of 100,000 plus employees?
Well, you're right. It's a big journey and it's a great team. Luckily, it's not all 100,000 that I need to work on. And I think actually this is maybe this is the first answer to your question, really, Michael. You got to look at people individually and you got to look at the teams. So what I'm thinking of is not just what you need to do to transform, but how you need to do it differently. So any successful transformation, in my view, and what I've been doing in Nokia is always about what is the mindset shift behind what you need to do differently. Because if you change the way you think about things and you become very open that this is a journey to transform your thinking, then you are much more able to have a successful people journey. So mindset shift is something that's a part of it. And actually what I find is when you do this and you're very clear on the mindset shifts, then it also helps you to define good actions, not just what I need to do differently, but how those actions are become rich actions that helps you address the mindset shift. So this is some of the things that I've been doing in sales in Europe. I was in my past jobs, I was also part of how we do pricing differently in Nokia. And I use these methodologies and it helped people to transforming the way they're thinking so the change actually sticks in the end.
Unbelievable. And for everyone listening in or watching this, just note that you're very fortunate because Peter is offering a 2-hour coaching session, a complimentary 2-hour coaching session with Peter Holmark on transformation. And you're very lucky if you're the winner of this gift. Just share this episode, mention someone who's worth watching it, or comment on the episode, or do all three, and you get a chance to go into our draw.
Thanks, Mike. Maybe I can add another point to this because you also mentioned a little bit the future, and I think you have a good point. It can sound very scary. Very often when I read in the news, it becomes the man versus the robot. But again, it's a mindset thing. I think you need to recognize it needs to be man and robot in the future. If we have the mindset that we need to coexist and co-work with artificial intelligence, machine learning, robots in the workplace, that's always a first step down the right path. And then rather than just acting differently, then thinking differently and then acting differently, I think that reflection and that reflex in 2 steps actually helps you to really get the best out of what the human mind can do by thinking and reflecting and coaching people to think about things in a different way. And yeah,
very interesting. Very interesting.
Okay.
I had a conversation with a friend of mine, Socrates Theodosiou from the Toto Theo group. They're in shipping, dealing with automation. And he was telling me that many people are very scared of losing their jobs Since you talk about the man and the robot, IT automation, coexist, co-work, and artificial intelligence, what is your opinion on this one? Are people losing their jobs? Are more jobs created at the same time?
I think certain jobs will change the nature of what they look like. So I think it's more as job enrichment, Michael. I see that certain parts of your job, which may be routine, can be automated. Well, machines are good in this. So if you see that as an opportunity to spend your time on something else, then that just helps you tremendously to have a better job, a better life. And let me give you a specific example about that. We have been very rigorously focusing on providing analytics to understand much more about how our sales are performing. We use different tools. We like to use Salesforce. And I have not seen any people in sales support or in sales don't have a job, but they actually look at the data and they make much better decisions. It's much more interesting for them, and it pushes them to have better conversation with the customers. So I think robots, automation can make the jobs better. And I think if we focus on leveraging the human's intuition, we still will have a competitive advantage. I think this is where it will always be very human for me.
I couldn't have gotten a better reply. Our fans and friends couldn't have gotten a better reply. Thank you for this. And one question before last. How do the HR practices at Nokia support the company as a whole? I want to know, because you said we don't support everyone, there's lots of people there, but how do your HR practices support the company as a whole?
I think it's a great question, Michael. So we have an HR model that supports employees, managers, and senior leaders. So we cover everything from operational, also into very strategic HR topics. So obviously, it's not the same challenges, but we're able to talk both practical operational stuff, manager stuff, and then what we need to do to build a people agenda that matches the business strategy. No, HR, the people strategy. Yeah. So we cover the whole stack, and we cover, of course, all employees, leaders, and executives. So this is one thing end to end. I particularly like the roles that I'm fortunate to have, and some of my colleagues, where we engage people strategies with business strategies, because together this is how we can execute them. So this is where we really add value. And then there's an interesting point, Michael. We know that people work for the leaders. So rather than saying we have an HR process A, B, C, D, E, we have people processes. And people processes very often are driven and owned by the leaders. And this is the way we enable greatness. And HR sometimes play an enabling role, and sometimes we have a direct role. And by being very mindful about these two things, we actually help the business for success.
Excellent. Wow. I love your replies. Short to the point. I think we should have a third Zoom In with Virardi episode.
I'll have to come back.
Last question, because in presentation skills, they say you have to tie to the beginning. So I want to tie to the beginning. Your advice, Peter, to all the companies and individuals who, like Nokia, are now experiencing today, not like you in the past, a roller coaster of a ride in a professional sense. I mean, what is your advice to those companies and individuals?
Yeah, well, we have a lot of learnings, and I personally have a lot of learnings. So there's three things I would like to say. First of all, enjoy the ride. There's nothing as a good roller coaster ride where you can learn. So be mindful of this and take time to reflect from successes and also failures. So enjoy the ride. Don't just close your eyes until it's gone. And my second point is to be mindful about what brings value to your customers today and tomorrow. And that will help you to get rid of what was relevant in the past. And if you square that up with what I like to do, then you have a very good matrix for where you're going to focus. And then you simply decide what are the areas where I want to be number one, and relentlessly drive on being the best you can in a very few things.
Wow, excellent. It was like a poem. It really touched me. Dear friends and fans, we were so lucky today to have had Peter Holmark, the HR director for customer operations for Nokia. Just to recap what Peter has told us, he said that to be great, you have to look at your drive, your passion, and your energy. What used to make you great does not necessarily mean it will make you great in the future. He talked about the whole cycle of employees' life. We have to look at the enrollment, but we also have to look at the exodus, because then you're a gentleman or a gentlewoman or a gentle organization because you care about your people. He said that achievement speaks louder than anything else. You have to have a growth mindset and improve just that little bit on a daily basis. He also said that potential is defined as the ability to get into a new situation by using your past experiences. But you need to be agile in terms of people, in terms of resources, and in terms of mental agility, and be able and willing to change. He also talked about how important it is for man and robot to coexist. It's coexist, co-work, and this is what artificial intelligence is all about. He said that yes, some jobs will be routine jobs and will be taken over by computers, but other jobs like empathy, and he gives us an example with Salesforce, a CRM program that they're using, cannot be equaled. You need empathic people, skillful people who can talk person to person, not computer to computer. He also said that people processes are very important and that Nokia places a great emphasis. And at the end of the day, you need to enjoy the ride, be mindful of what used to bring you value in the past and what will bring you value in the future, so you can zoom in on that and become number one in one or two major things and not in everything. Peter Holmark, it was a pleasure and an honor to have had you present. You have been fantastic, and the last words are for you, my dear friend.
Thank you so much, Michael. It's been great to be in the program, and funny enough, just talking about what you're doing, you get some new ideas as well. So thank you for this opportunity. It's been great to talk to you again, and I look forward to hear back from some of the listeners what they think of the program.
Of course. Share this program, my dear friends and fans. Mention someone who's worth watching it or comment on it, and you get a chance to win a 2-hour session with this fantastic gentleman that you just now experienced. Thank you very much, and we'll be back at the end of March with yet another excellent Zoom In with Virardi episode. Thank you very much, Peter.
Thank you.